Welcome to the BMS Sports Podcast. We are coming at you live and direct from Norfolk, Virginia. I am your host, Avery Fuller, sitting with my co-host, Stephen Troutman Bay, a.k.a.
The Guru.
And it is about that time this week with the BMS Sports Podcast. First and foremost, we want to start with saying congratulations to the Kansas Jayhawks as they created history. They made history on Monday with their national championship win against my North Carolina Tar Heels, and I can't even say it right because it's just so appalling. Not only did we lose, but now we're in the history books for having the worst loss in college basketball history, kind of. Anyway, Guru, tell me what you think about the game and what stood out the most.
What stood out the most was the man stepping out of bounds with 1 second left. That would have covered the spread if he went to the line and hit a free throw. Oh. But the Kansas Jayhawks, although they are the national champions, and we salute the national champions, the man stepped out of bounds with 1 second. The coach designed the inbound play on the sideline, for one. The play was a disaster from the beginning. And it cost sports bettors millions of dollars.
I think it was one sports bettor who
myself included.
It was a sports bettor who lost $1 million.
I saw that.
From that alone, just from him stepping out of bounds and giving Carolina the ball back. It's so strange the way that game went. I was watching it, and I was getting calls at halftime because we was up so much. And I was like, stop calling me, please. You know, this don't mean nothing. And
y'all had a parade at halftime.
Listen, they came out so fast in the second half that it was unspeakable. I didn't know what to think. I knew what we did against Baylor and how Baylor came back from 26 down.
Right.
And then I've seen so many games where we would collapse late in the game that I felt like we are not in the clear.
No.
It don't help none that Puff Johnson ended up taking a shot, and he was on a roll. Like, he was on a roll.
Man played too many minutes.
He played way more minutes than he was accustomed to. But in those minutes that he was playing, I could see why he was playing so many minutes, because in those minutes he was playing, my man was on the rebounds, he was on the buckets, he was doing everything that he was needed to do, so much so I think he earned himself a starting spot.
Oh, he was hooping, but he just got overly excited in the game, the biggest game of his career. He got overly excited, and he played more minutes than he was used to, and that win caught up to him.
That is a big part of the game. Like, I feel like, I know he's not used to playing those minutes and playing so consistent, playing intense, consistent basketball. But isn't that a part of the game?
Absolutely. But like I say, man, the biggest game of your career, I think the excitement took a lot of his energy that he could have used later on in the game. But you know who was made for that moment was Remy Martin. That's why we drinking Remy Martin today on the BMS Sports Podcast. Shout out to Remy Martin, man. Hit those big threes off the bench to bury North Carolina Tar Heels.
It was strange because I watched somebody from North Carolina shoot a three, and it hit the rim and go inside the hoop and spin around in the net. And Remy Martin was shooting that shit from the middle of, or like two steps away from the three-pointer, and it was just splash mountain. Like, it was like they nets was wet and our nets was dry.
With a name like Remy Martin, man, what do you expect?
It's definitely
shout out Remy.
It was a tough pill to swallow. Shout out to David McCormick from Norfolk. He was
big boy.
Norfolk handling Baycott, even though, you know,
Baycott from Richmond, you know, so two Virginia boys doing battle.
Absolutely.
In the middle, but again, Norfolk won in the end. Anytime you got a man from Norfolk on the team, man, your chances of winning are more greater than a team without somebody from Norfolk on it, in my opinion.
I agree 1,000%. But shout out to Kansas. Y'all did a great job. We should have won. We should have been an 8 seed that won.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
But shoulda, coulda, woulda. One thing that I noticed in that game is in the second half, players like R.J. Davis, he was giving them the ball. It was so bad how often he was turning the ball over that it'll suck the air out the room easily. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because we just giving them opportunities, and in the process of they comeback from being 15 down at halftime, the opportunities that we gave them, it clearly hurt us more than anything else.
I watched Kenny Smith at halftime. He say the only way that Kansas could get back in the game with as good as Carolina plays offensively is if they turn the ball over. And just like that, they became a turnover machine.
Yeah.
And they couldn't hit a shot.
Caleb Love, he just fell out the game. Listen, my man was a big part of us even getting to that point. But at some point in that game, he just kind of fell out. I remember seeing him one time kind of twist his ankle. And when he twisted his ankle, he was kind of limping up the court. And even then, I don't understand why Hubert Davis didn't take him out the game. Like, it was like, bro, take him out. Let him get looked at. Put somebody else in the game for the moment, because he limping up the court. He even got the ball and ran up the court limping. And it was just like, bro, at some point, you got to say, you know what? Let me take him out. Put some fresh legs in there. Keep up with everybody. But no. We're going to keep him in the game even though he ain't doing nothing. He ain't scoring nothing. And he hurt. So right. It was tough to watch.
It would have been nice though to see Hubert Davis win a championship on the same back-to-back consecutive days as Don Staley winning and actually defeating UConn for the first time in the championship. That was the first time that Gino has lost a championship game. But Don Staley say, shit, we 1-0 in the championship, 92-0. She say, so we undefeated in the championship too. So it would have been nice to see them two win consecutive titles on consecutive days, man. But Hubert came up just a little short. I'm sure he'll have the troops rallied and be back, not next year, but maybe in a couple years, because Carolina's some trash.
Well, you know, trash, we bust Duke ass. For all y'all Duke fans out there, we bust shot. Coach K, we gonna haunt your dreams. Literally.
That was really a bad loss for you, Coach K.
We ended your career on a
they
note
beat
that's
you the
meant only
last
for
game in Durham. Then they beat you your last game ever. And you ended tied with Carolina. Do you know that you will never live down?
Never.
The Carolina fans will talk about this for the remainder of their lives.
We your kryptonite. We are 100% your kryptonite.
What if he pull a Tom Brady and say, man, I got to come back. I can't go out like that.
He shut it down the day. He did a interview, and he shut that down so much so that you would have thought, bruh, he ain't coming back. But something else that stood out is that the two coaches that was in the national championship game both replaced Roy Williams.
So who was Roy going for? Because it seemed like Roy was big on Carolina.
Well, that was his last team, so I could see him kind of rooting for Carolina, especially because our coach under him. You know, I don't think Bill Self coached under Roy Williams. You know what I'm saying?
I want to say he did, but I'm not 100% sure. I know he got the job from Roy.
Right, exactly.
And Roy left to go to Carolina.
So, but if he did coach under Roy, that says a lot about Roy. Plain and simple. Roy done won championships in both places.
Yep.
And he taught two coaches that is taking over in both places, and they both meet in the national championship.
That's huge. And
Hubert Davis meet in the national championship in his first season. First season. In a season that nobody expected us to even get to the tournament, let alone run through that shit like we did.
And they was calling for Hubert to lose his job midway through the season.
Which is terrible. Lose his job his first season. Ain't even give him a chance. I bet they give him a chance now.
He earned it.
I bet they give him a chance. So, listen, all I know is I enjoyed it. It definitely opened my eyes a lot more to college basketball and how fun it gets, especially during tournament time. Shout out to St. Peter's. You did great. You won't get back there no more because all your players just went to the goddamn transfer portal. Your coach gone, your players gone, and at the end of the day, nobody expected you to be there. But y'all made it so much better than it was. I promise you. Shout out to the coach at St. Peter's because he made a way for himself. And he's going to probably collect those 3 players that's in the transfer portal. I wouldn't blame him if he did because they was playing their ass off. But next up, we got the NBA coming, so we'll be back after this. In the meantime, we'll holler at you in a second. Well, welcome back to the BMS Sports Podcast. We are coming at you again live and direct from Norfolk, Virginia at the BMS Sports Studios. So let's get to it. I know I said we're going to do NBA, but I changed my goddamn mind. We're going to do NFL. So let's jump right in. The Saints made a trade this week with the Philadelphia Eagles, which gave the Saints 2 first-round picks, which I think is the 16th and the 18th. And then the Eagles will have the 15th and the 19th. Something like that. Fact check me, please. But either way, I don't understand the point of the trade, but what you think about that, Guru?
It was kind of crazy to me because New Orleans gave away they received 2 first-round picks from Philadelphia. Right? In exchange for 1 first-round pick this year and 1 next year and a couple of other picks throughout the draft, 3rd and 6th round. But my thing was, I don't see New Orleans being that bad of a team where the first round next year would kind of benefit the Eagles. So I'm curious to know what was the thought process behind the whole trade.
It's strange because it's like the Eagles is like tanking everything. They're giving away their picks. Most people tank to get picks, but they're giving away their picks. They ain't picking up nobody in the offseason. They ain't doing nothing. Like, it's almost as if they're saying, you know what, I don't like Jalen Hurts, so let's stack the cards up against him and force him out.
That's the only thing I can see is like they're kind of tanking, so that way next year their pick will be kind of high, and then they have another pick from the Saints, which regardless of where that, their pick will be kind of high because it don't seem like they're trying to win a whole lot of games, and that's just my opinion. And it's early, but from the looks of things, like I don't see no sense in trading 2 first-round picks this year when you have a team that made it to the playoffs last year with Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I can't understand the method behind their madness, but it is madness.
It's definitely
because
madness.
It made no sense to me.
It makes zero sense. I know Eagles fans is beating themselves up, beating everybody in the neighborhood up. They going crazy right now. But it is what it is because, you know, they're still in the NFC East, so their chances are always greater than anybody else's. It's whatever. Sorry, Eagles fans. Congratulations, Saints. I don't know who y'all plan on getting, but y'all better make it worth it. Don't do like we did. Well, we sacrificed our whole everything for Trey Lance, and we still don't know what he's capable of. So we'll see. We still got Jimmy G. So
jury's still out on Trey Lance.
Jury's definitely still out. In other news, my man Stephon Diggs just got a new deal. He just got a new deal with the Buffalo Bills. That's going to carry him, another 4 years? $104 million, $70 million guaranteed. You think he earned it?
I like Stephon Diggs. I think the NFL at this point is just giving the bag away, man. I grew up in the wrong era.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, man, with the way that football is designed, the way they're giving away money, the way in college you can just enter the transfer portal whenever the hell you want. It's like, okay, I don't like the coach. I'm out of here. Oh, I only caught 100 balls this year. I want to catch 110. Let me transfer. So it's like everything is geared towards the athlete.
Yeah.
For real, it's like your chances of failure is a whole lot slimmer versus back in the day. Like your chances of being successful is greater because you don't really have to face no adversity.
Why do you think the league has changed so much? You think it got more to do with the Players Association, or is it more surrounding around
money?
So is it just the NFL is just making so much more money now that they just giving it all away, or is there a solid argument where they're saying, hey, we're players, we should get this much money?
It's a combination of both. I mean, you know, the times that we're in now, you know, they're generating more income with the crowds and the TV advertisement and deals and marketing, et cetera, et cetera. So, and not to mention the sports gambling. Everything is tied into one thing, and it's greater. You know, you got the player props now, and you got so much more that adds to the game of football that the players right now, they got the leverage.
The way they getting guaranteed money, they is guaranteeing everything. I don't understand it, but congratulations to Stephon.
Hats off, man. Congratulations, man. I respect you. And I like I said, I like Stephon Diggs, man. He's actually one of my better receivers in the league.
He listen, he's a soldier. I tell you one thing that resonated with me was when they lost and everybody was going to the locker room, man. He was literally standing out there watching them celebrate.
And he stood out there last year, sucked it all in, just to lose again this year.
Yeah, yeah. But he on a good team with a good quarterback. So I guess when you got a good quarterback, the chances of winning is pretty substantial. So
being that the Buffalo Bills have 0 Super Bowls to their name, that I'm
they've been to 100, but they can't get over the hump.
Don't look good.
Not at all.
They're the King James of football.
I don't know whether that was a dig or a brush. What? All right. We all know that the quarterback position is the most important position in football. That's a big reason why they get paid the most. We also know that the quarterback of a team can make or break the success of the franchise itself. And you got 2 franchise quarterbacks that we want to talk about. I've had conversations with people that told me Peyton Manning was better than Tom Brady. I've had people say the opposite, that Tom Brady is better than Peyton Manning. So, Guru, I want to know your thoughts. Between Brady and Manning, who you got?
First, we got to identify what we mean by better.
Overall. So what happens is if we nitpick into it too much, right? We tend to try to find certain traits or certain aspects of a player to determine which part, is he a better thrower? Is he a better runner? None of that matters. We're talking about the quarterback position as a whole. Who's better at it? Who would you prefer?
Who would I prefer? Tom Brady, without a doubt. But and I say that not to, and that was back to my question, because when you kind of stating who's better, it's a lot that goes into that question, because I feel like Peyton Manning had a better skill set than Tom Brady, right?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like Tom Brady, if I was starting a franchise, then I would start it with Tom Brady, because I feel like Tom Brady is just a better overall winner. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like he won more with less. I feel like...
You think so?
Yeah. Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Edgerrin James, Dallas Clark, Jeff Saturday. He had a hell of an offensive line. Not the greatest defense, but they weren't the worst, And I felt like even back to Tennessee, Peyton Manning had a great team at Tennessee and didn't win shit, and then turned around, and T. Martin took basically the same team and won the national championship. So, yeah, he's been on good teams his whole career.
Well, I feel like the team that he was on in Denver wasn't as good as any of the teams that Tom Brady had.
You don't feel like that?
No.
Did you see that defense he had in Denver?
Right. They had a great defense. Absolutely.
A great defense.
Right. But
the offense really wasn't that bad.
We're football right now, and during that time when they won, it's an offensive game.
Right. But he still had weapons on offense.
Even then, in that Super Bowl, Peyton Manning ain't do nothing. I don't know if I can name a Super Bowl that Tom Brady didn't do nothing.
Yeah, I can name 2 against the Giants.
He one of the Giants, he had over 500 yards. Oh, no, that was the Eagles. That was the Eagles. Yeah.
The Giants.
I think it's because they went into the game underestimating the Giants. They had goddamn Eli, of course. I would underestimate them too.
Eli the GOAT.
You shitting me? Listen, bro, you did a line or something?
Shout out Eli Manning, man, the greatest Giants quarterback of all time. That makes you the GOAT in my eyes.
Okay, yeah. I'm so glad that he solidified what he's saying, the Giants, the greatest Giants quarterback. I get that because, he won 2 Super Bowls, so I try to get the benefit of the doubt where it go. But I would go with Tom Brady too. I feel like Tom Brady makes his teammates better. Right. He has taken a ton of players and gave them names.
Absolutely.
I feel like if those players would have went on other teams, which some of them have, which Matter of fact, Wes Welker played with both of them. You know what I'm saying? And while Wes Welker was as successful with Peyton Manning as he was with Tom Brady, he wasn't as successful, if that makes sense.
It actually didn't, but I kind of followed you.
Right. If you can follow it, then it makes sense. I assume. But, you know, I just feel like it's a lot of players that we wouldn't know about if it wasn't for Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
And I can't say that about Peyton Manning.
Because I think Reggie Wayne would have been Reggie Wayne without.
Yep. And Marvin Harrison would have been.
I think Marvin Harrison, Dallas Clark, all them guys would have been who they were.
Yep.
Without Peyton Manning, because those guys came into the league with names.
Right.
You know, a lot of Tom Brady receivers, and I'm a football historian, and I can't remember half of Tom Brady's receivers in New England.
Now, I can't say he had some good receivers, but I guess when you had
In
that
Tampa
conversation,
Bay.
I mean, even in New England.
Who were they? Name them.
What you mean, Randy Moss?
I'm talking about that he won with. He didn't win with Randy Moss.
Dion.
Yeah, exactly. My point.
Right.
Everybody know Reggie
15
Wayne.
years ago.
Everybody know Marvin Harrison. Whether it was 20 years ago or 30 years ago, you don't forget those names. These are potential and current Hall of Famers.
It's a difference though, because you trying to. It's a difference when you're talking about that one Colts team that won the Super Bowl, right?
No, but he was on that team with those guys for most of his career.
Right. I get that, but Tom Brady has won a lot.
Right.
So it's a lot of receivers to try to remember, as opposed to with Peyton Manning and the Colts. You only got to remember those two key targets because they only got their one championship.
So we're gonna ask this: do you name a receiver outside of Randy Moss, which he didn't win a Super Bowl with, that Tom Brady played with? That's a potential Hall of Famer.
Julian Edelman, Ron Gronkowski.
That's a tight end.
Deion Branch.
We're gonna go back to
tight
Julian.
ends are receivers, right?
We're gonna go back to Julian Edelman and Deion Branch because the question was potential Hall of Famers.
And you don't think that they're potential Hall of Famers?
Hell no.
So Julian Edelman is not a potential Hall of Famer with 3 Super Bowls.
Hell no.
He was a Super Bowl MVP at one point, wasn't he? With Tom Brady on his team. He had Tom Brady on his team, the GOAT, yet he won Super Bowl MVP. You don't think he's a Hall of Famer?
How many times must I say hell no in this language?
So in that case,
no.
how in the Billy Club hell is Dan Marino a Hall of Famer?
Because Hall of Famers is not based upon you winning Super Bowls. You won 3 Super Bowls with Tom Brady. Congratulations. That don't make you a Hall of Famer. That makes him a Hall of Famer.
Right.
But Dan Marino was arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever played football.
That couldn't win the Super Bowl.
He didn't win the Super Bowl, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Dan Marino was great at what he did.
Well, let's look at the reality of it, right? The reality of it is football is about one job specifically, right? Because like even now, and it's gonna sound biased and it's not meant to be, but had we won those,
mention the 49ers.
Had we won the Super Bowl when we played the Chiefs, Jimmy Garoppolo would be in a potential Hall of Famer. Okay,
so even if we look at that, okay, you say Jimmy G would be a potential Hall of Famer. I still say no, based upon the rest of his body of work. So if he won the Super Bowl and Patrick Mahomes didn't, and Patrick Mahomes never won the Super Bowl up to this point, would you say that Jimmy G is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes?
It's not about better.
That's what the argument is when you come to Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is an individual award.
Absolutely.
You know,
but
football,
the
Super Bowl is a team reward. So, of course, if you win a team reward, that doesn't make everybody on the team a Hall of Famer.
Absolutely. I agree with that. But
Deion Branch,
it's about the impact that you had on the team.
Julian Edelman.
Listen, you got to realize that Deion Branch scored touchdowns in these Super Bowls. That means they don't win these Super Bowls without Deion Branch. Same thing with Julian Edelman. Same thing with Wes Welker. Same thing with
does
Gronk.
Not make you a Hall of Famer.
So what defines Hall of Fame? Because is it solely space based? Is it solely based on based on your stats?
Pretty much.
So the stats is what determine whether you're a Hall of Famer individually.
Your individual body of work.
I don't agree with that. I feel like that if you was an integral part of your team winning, and your team win consistently, and a big part of that is because of you, you should be a Hall of Famer, plain and simple.
But a lot of these guys wasn't even all consecutive All-Pro. I don't even know if they was All-Pros ever.
But when you take somebody like Julian Edelman, who he played the game, he played very, very well, but he didn't just play well. He won Super Bowls, and he was a Super Bowl MVP. That goes a long way. Like, literally, that goes beyond individual stats. That means that in the Super Bowl, the game that matters more than any game in the season, he was the best player on the field. He was on the field with who we consider the GOAT, the greatest quarterback of all time in the football, and he won MVP.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this, and I feel like this will be kind of the only two Hall of Famers that Tom Brady threw the ball to will probably be Randy Moss and Rob Gronkowski outside of Tampa Bay.
Oh, wow. That's deep. That's deep. But while I disagree,
because isn't one of them, I don't think, which one is not a Hall of Famer? Is it Marvin Harrison or Reggie Wayne? Or is both? I don't think both of them are Hall of Famer.
Well, I know Marvin Harrison is. So I don't think Reggie Wayne got to that point yet. But he should be. He should.
I think he came up for it. I'm not sure. I can't quote whether he was in it, but I think it was an argument that he wasn't. Mm-hmm. And I know Torrey Holt isn't. And he won the Super Bowl with the Rams. And he was a little bit better than Deion Branch and Julian Edelman.
He won a Super Bowl with the Rams.
And I think that Isaac Bruce make the whole. I think Isaac Bruce did.
Mm-hmm. But nobody that we've spoken to or that we've spoken about has won more Super Bowls than Julian Edelman.
Man,
keep in mind that I don't think they win those Super Bowls without Julian Edelman.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm definitely not gonna say that.
All I know is when you is the best player on the field in the Super Bowl, if you weren't playing in that game would not be the same game.
He won, what, 3 or 4 more without Julian Edelman?
He won 3 more without him.
Okay, so.
But he still had Deion Branch and Wes Welker. Like, either way you look at it, it's one of those things where, you know, these guys are significant to Tom Brady's legacy.
Well, I'm going to tell you who he didn't have. Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison.
He ain't need them.
And Edgerrin James.
He ain't need them.
And Peyton Manning had him, and he couldn't beat Tom Brady.
Couldn't.
With Deion Branch and Julian Edelman.
Right. Exactly. That goes to say a lot about Deion Branch and Julian Edelman.
It says more about Tom Brady, man. The GOAT.
Or, just playing devil's advocate, it could be about Bill Belichick and the system that he created that enables Tom Brady to be successful.
It has a lot to do with Bill Belichick.
Now, I'm sorry. I said it's based on the system. But I guess Tom Brady really showed it's not really based on the system. You know,
no,
the system was substantial for Tom Brady. Or Tom Brady could have just brought that shit with him to Tampa.
I believe he did. And then in Tampa, that was his best roster as far as offensive weapons.
You think that roster was better than the roster with
you got Antonio Brown, you got Mike Evans, you got Gronk. Of course.
Okay. So maybe one of our future podcasts we should take the best team Tom Brady was on in New England and the Tampa team and just compare them.
You might have to put together an all-time team in New England to compare to that Tampa Bay team.
Damn, that's crazy. That is deep. That's deep. That's as deep as it gets. All right, look, that's it for the NFL for the moment. Either way, I choose Tom over Peyton. Guru?
Absolutely. Tom over Peyton, man. Tom over everybody but Eli.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, put the camera. Look at me. Fuck Eli. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Bet More Sports Podcast. We are coming at you again live and direct from the Bet More Sports Studios in Norfolk, Virginia. We are back in. Right now, we want to play a little game. I call it overrated, underrated. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much pick a player. We're going to put it on the screen, and we're going to determine if we believe that player is overrated or underrated. All right? So let's go. Starting from the gate. Boom. First player, Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins. Guru, what you think?
Overrated, highly.
Highly overrated. I agree.
Complete biscuit.
I don't ever see him leading a team to a Super Bowl. Not even the Rams. That's a pun hit at Matthew Stafford. But no, I don't see him ever taking this team.
Get your money though, Kirk, but you is highly overrated,
Yeah.
especially for that paper.
Definitely get your money. I would never knock anybody that's getting money, but bruh, you
For
don't
that paper, you overrated.
you don't deserve it. Next up, Giants legend. Or whatever he is.
I'm gonna say he's actually rated where he needs to be rated. He's not overrated or underrated, kinda, because of the injuries we haven't really been able to see enough, and he doesn't. He's not getting paid as a top back in the NFL for me to say he's overrated. So he's kind of rated within his pay grade right now.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I believe he's overrated. The reason why I believe he's overrated because injuries is a part of the game, and he is injury prone.
Okay.
Not only that, but when he is playing, he's not making enough of a splash. Even though I know his team is trash, he's not making enough of a splash for him to get the credit that he's been given, especially his first year. I remember his first year as a rookie. He came in, his first run was he broke for like 45 yards.
Man, he had a hell of a rookie season.
And he was looked at as, he going to be the man. And right now, he ain't looking at that. He damn near on the trade block.
Right. So for me to say that he is overrated would mean that they put a franchise tag on him, they paid him some money, and they put some hopes in him being able to carry the franchise. They hasn't done that. So I think he's rated where he belongs. Now, like in the instance of Kirk Cousins, he's been franchise tagged multiple times in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
He was given the first fully guaranteed contract in Minnesota as a quarterback. Right?
Okay.
And he just signed another
$35
major
million deal
contract for a year. So it's like they're paying him as an elite quarterback. That makes him, in my opinion, overrated, right?
Mm-hmm. So Saquon's still on his rookie deal, right?
And they paying him like a rookie, and he's performing like a rookie.
Do you think that he is going to seek that rookie money?
Do I think he's going to seek more money?
Do you think that a team is going to pay him like a top-tier running back?
It depends on the season he has this year, but Saquon is kind of running out of time.
You think he's going to last with the Giants?
Because the life expectancy of a running back isn't that long. So I think that if he don't do it this year, Saquon, I love you, you my man, but if you don't do it this year, I'm going to label you a bust.
Yeah.
Because we spent the high draft pick for you, and you had one good year, and you kind of...
Y'all picked him super high.
You kind of on that. You kind of on the cusp of being a bust now. I need a good year out of you, at least 1,500.
He ain't about to do that.
I'm talking about total yards. I ain't talking rushing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, total yards. I can see that
Need
possible.
at least 1,500.
If y'all get rid of Daniel Jones. All right, next up, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is, I feel like he's overrated. Even though, when we speak in regards to contracts and things of that nature, it's different. But I feel like the role of a quarterback, simply because it's the most important position on the field, is to win games.
Right.
Quarterbacks are measured by how they win games, and I don't think Justin Herbert has been to a playoff yet.
No.
And I'm not saying that, he should have been there by now, but the way he's being praised, the way that they're putting him in the same conversation with Patrick Mahomes and even Tom Brady, I've heard it.
It's kind of the same conversation you put Jimmy G in.
I don't never put Jimmy. I would never. Hold on, stop, pause. Let me take this shit off the screen real quick. Look at me. I would never, ever put Jimmy Garoppolo in the same conversation as any successful quarterback, except for
So we got this
Eli.
live and direct. Because I don't want to hear no more Jimmy G talk after the day being that we done cleared.
Listen,
that he is not on the level of any successful quarterback.
He don't got to be on the
Hey,
level.
man, I just wanted to clear that up before we went any further.
He is a winner, though.
You see what I'm saying? Now, here we go.
He is a winner. Can you disagree? Do you disagree that he's not a winner?
I don't disagree with that.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I feel like Justin Herbert is given the benefit of the doubt. But he got more coming to him this year. So this is going to be his test year. This is going to be the year where he got so much. The Chargers got so much in the offseason that I don't feel like they have a reason not to be a number 1 seed, get a first-round bye, and make it to the AFC Championship with a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
And I feel like Justin Herbert, I kind of got him on the same level as Saquon Barkley, right? Far as the hype is concerned, the kind of hype that the people on ESPN and CBS Sports and Fox Sports give him, I would say that he's overrated because they kind of hype the man to be the next coming of goddamn John Elway really and Joe Montana.
Good Lord.
And he ain't been to the playoffs yet, and he has not been on a bad team.
Right, exactly.
So if Carr could take the Las Vegas Raiders to the playoffs last year, I don't see, because the Chargers roster was way better than the Raiders, in my opinion. And according to all the experts, Herbert is a better quarterback than Carr. So I'm trying to figure out why he hasn't been there yet. So I put him on the same level of Saquon Barkley, not as much as saying that if he don't do it this year, he's a bust. But you got 2 more years, boy.
2.
And I'm talking about 2 more. With this roster you got currently, if you don't make the playoffs, I'm going to say you're a bust. And that's it. And that's all. I don't want to hear no more about him after he don't make the playoffs this year.
So let's ruffle some feathers. Dak Prescott. Is Dak Prescott overrated or underrated?
If we're expecting this man to ever win a Super Bowl, he's overrated. But in all actuality, I'm going to say Dak is really underrated because I think that he performs well. He puts up good statistical numbers. But as you always say, the objective of a quarterback is to win and lead your team to the Super Bowl. And I'm not sorry to say this. I don't even feel bad saying this. I kind of get great pleasure in saying this, that Dak Prescott will never win the Super Bowl. Dak Prescott will probably never play in a NFC Championship game.
So
long as he in Dallas.
As long as he in Dallas, I agree with that 1,000%. That's what I was going to say. As long as he's in Dallas, he is going to be what he is now. They already paid him top tier money.
And that's what makes him overrated.
He is 1,000% overrated. I believe that when it all boils down, the quality of quarterback is determined how that quarterback play in times when their team needs them the most. And when Dallas need him the most, he turns into Kirk Cousins.
That's what who said that about Dak, man? Say Dak, the black Kirk Cousins. Who said that? Was it Amari Cooper or was it Randy Gregory?
It was Amari Cooper.
See that man, the black Kirk Cousins. That's a fair comparison.
That's why they gave him away for Skittles and a pack of T-shirts, because Dak won't go throw him the ball no more. And Dak ain't throwing the ball that much this year either, I don't think.
No. He kind of made the way for CeeDee Lamb, but Dak, I think far as his play, he's underrated, but as far as his pay, he's overrated. I'm going to say that.
I feel like as far as his play, he's overrated, mainly because I feel like they rely so much on Zeke. Like, I heard so many Dallas Cowboys fans use Zeke as the reason why Dak wasn't as great as he could be. You know what I'm saying? Where they felt like, oh, our system is surrounded around the run, and we don't run that much. When Dak throwing the ball 40 times a game, then we lose. And it's like, well, the coach put the ball in his hand to throw the ball. And guess what? You don't say that when he throw the ball 40 times a game and y'all win. When he got 450 yards passing and no picks, you know. But, I mean, that don't happen much. But it's still one of those things where when you losing games, you can have 450 yards and no picks and nothing. But if you lose, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it's your job to win.
Right.
So, and then last but not least, we have Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray is a two-sport athlete, one of many, but, you know, he's standing out. He's a little guy. He's fast. He got a cannon for an arm. But what would you say, Guru? Is he underrated or overrated?
It's gonna kind of hurt me to say this, man, because I'm a Kyler Murray fan, but I'm overrated.
I agree.
He's another one I don't feel is ever gonna win nothing. Not in this league. Not on the Cardinals. Not on no team in the NFL. Do I feel like Kyler Murray would be a Super Bowl winning quarterback?
Okay, and I don't disagree. It's one of those things where I feel like Kyler Murray he's great. You know what I'm saying? His skill set it enables him to be separate from anybody else. He's fast like Mighty Mouse.
I feel like the league kind of figured him out like late in the season. And then I think a lot of it has to do with his coach.
Right. Because the adjustments was very limited.
Right. I think a lot of it also has to do with him as a person, kind of like reports say that he's a crybaby and he's really not a team leader, not a team player. He throws players under the bus, and you can't do that at the quarterback position.
Right.
And be successful.
And I mean, he's a fresh face, so it's not like he is a veteran in the game, and you know he's learning, and that's a part of the process. But I still believe that the way his skill set is built, how often do you see quarterbacks that are scramblers,
right,
win Super Bowls? How many can you recall?
Would you consider Kyler Murray a scrambler for real?
Absolutely. I can tell you that
I don't
because
think he's a run-first quarterback, though.
He's not necessarily run first, but he's still a scrambler in a sense of he will try to not be a run first.
Well, in that case, Steve Young was a scrambler.
Absolutely.
Russell Wilson was a scrambler.
Absolutely.
They Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
Right. Okay. Well, then you made a valid point when you think about it from that perspective. And I would never compare Kyler Murray to either one of them. So it's just one of those things where, you know, Kyler got some growing to do, but I feel like his potential is endless. It's unlimited, and he can be.
What we say about without DeAndre Hopkins, then are you a great quarterback?
That's true. Well, if that's the case, I mean, you can kind of throw Aaron Rodgers in that conversation with Devontae Adams.
We will see.
You know, which I know he got a pass, but, you know, from the last couple of years since he had Devontae Adams, he's relied on him so heavy. It's weird.
We're going to see what you look like this year, boy.
I tell you. All right, so today is the beginning of the MLB season. Baseball is back, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm excited about it because
let's go Yankees.
It's going to get nice and warm, and I have yet to go see the Yankees play, so that's a part of the plan. And you better believe that if you are a gamer and you know anything about this MLB 22, you better get on it. If you want to get at me, holler at me, let me know, and I'll bust your ass for free like I'm going to do the Guru over here. The Guru beat me in MLB like 19 or something. He'll never beat me again. Never.
Is this stated as a fact?
It is stated as a fact. He'll never beat me again. I ain't got time for it. That's for sure.
Oh, man.
So, but the main question is, so the moment baseball season is in preparation to start, the governor of New York lifts the COVID mandate that they pretty much carried the entire NBA season. And now that baseball is about to start, they lift it, and the baseball players is good, and Kyrie now can come back in and play. Guru, do you think that baseball played the key role in the lifting of that mandate?
100%. New York is a New York Yankee town. It's a Mets town, and it's a Yankee town. It's more Yankee than Mets, but those two franchises really own the key to the city. Like, they don't give a damn about the Brooklyn Nets. They don't give a damn about Kyrie Irving or the Nets winning the championship. You know, it ain't the Knicks.
Right.
You know, and even the Knicks don't hold the power that the New York Yankees and the New York Mets hold in the city of New York. And it's not ironic that soon as baseball came out of their strike.
Mm-hmm.
Spring league started. You saw Aaron Judge on TV talking about him not being vaccinated and the potential of him possibly not being able to play in the home games. And he was not even wavered by the questions. He was kind of like, we'll just see how the mandate thing goes, as if he already knew. Like, it was not the stress that you saw the basketball players have at the beginning of the season because there was so much uncertainty.
Right. He wasn't worried about it.
No.
He was literally like, whatever.
Exactly. George Steinbrenner, Sons, cut the check. Let's get baseball. Let's get this mandate lifted.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, why do you think the response is the way it is for baseball and not basketball?
What you mean, kind of?
Like, do you think baseball is bringing in more money than basketball? Is that
absolutely? The Yankees is one of the. They might be the highest paid franchise in sports besides the Dallas Cowboys.
And yeah, when you think about it, now that I just thought about it, baseball got 172 games. When you got 172 games, you're gonna make some money.
Yeah,
I mean, let's just face it: $10 hot dogs, $15 beers, and 172 games. Even if you sell one beer per game, which that's far-fetched. But yes, I agree. I feel like that baseball played an integral role in the lifting of that mandate because they let Kyrie go all this time. The Brooklyn Nets probably could have been in a better position than they in now had they took that step sooner. But the moment baseball season pop up, now let's make some changes.
Let's go Yankees.
All right, so coming up, we got WWE WrestleMania over the weekend. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the BMS Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Avery Fuller, sitting here with my co-host, Stephen Trotman Bay, a.k.a.
The Guru.
And we got some WWE for you. I can tell you right now, the weekend was eventful. It was full of sports. I had my guys literally playing in the National Championship and WrestleMania. And WrestleMania was pretty much one of the best ones that I've been able to witness, It wasn't a ton of surprise, but one of the biggest surprises was Cody Rhodes. He actually left WWE to go and help create AEW and then left AEW to come back to WWE. The biggest difference is he actually left and went there and came back 8-9 times bigger than he was. And I ain't talking about physically. I'm talking about as far as his stature. He was much bigger than he was. So he's on a bigger stage. And at this stage, he's probably going to be competing for the WWE Championship.
So what was the biggest match of the weekend?
Biggest match. Initially, it was I originally felt like it was the main event, which was Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, but I had to relive my childhood when Stone Cold Steve Austin came out and wrestled, and we know how old he is, but he didn't look it, and for him to come out and perform and look the way he looked back in the day, it was extremely impressive. And not to mention that it was the old Stone Cold. He stunner and stunner and stunner and stunner. And, it's nothing like those stunners. When he stunned Vince McMahon, I thought Vince McMahon was dead.
That stunner to Vince McMahon looked kind of old.
It was not the, what's the word?
It wasn't the cleanest stunner I've seen.
Right. And you can see
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You could see Stone Cold laughing about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of like, but again, I don't mind it. I was perfectly fine with it. But you can see when he kicked Vince McMahon damn near lost all the breath in his stomach. And then he still said, you know what, I don't give a shit. I'm going to still stun your ass. And he did it. And, man, it was for me, I relived the moment in my childhood that it's probably going to never happen again. Stone Cold's probably never going to wrestle again at this stage. But I appreciate it. When it came down to the Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar match, man, that match was substantial. It made a difference. When I say it made a difference, I'm saying that in a sense of them guys was going hard. And, I'm a fan of both Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and I felt like Brock Lesnar was going to win, but Roman Reigns proved me wrong big time.
So did Roman Reigns hit him with the Superman punch?
I'm going to be honest, I don't think he hit him with one Superman punch. But he speared the shit out of him like 8 times. And I think that's what put him over the top. But my man's shoulder popped out of place. I mean, it literally popped out of place, and you could see it out of place. And he still speared him with the shoulder just kind of dangling. And then after he speared him, you seen him get up on some real barbaric shit and pop it back in place. I was like, golly, my man is I don't want to say gangster, but he tough as nails.
Sound gangster to me.
You know what I'm saying?
So in regards to Brock Lesnar, right? You know, he got a historic sports career, so to speak. You know, he was a national champ in wrestling in college. He made it to an NFL roster and played in a few preseason games in the NFL. He was a UFC champ and a WWF champ. So where would you rank him as far as athletes? Would you say that he's a great athlete? What would you say about Brock Lesnar's athletic ability?
I feel like he's a high-end world-class athlete. I think it's a difference when he can direct it towards the barbaric side of sports, where he's pretty much slamming people all over the place, and his biggest asset is his strength. And so because his asset is his strength, and sports like wrestling and UFC, strength matters. That makes the biggest difference. I mean, it matters in football and sports like that too, but it matters more versus finesse or charisma. If you're stronger than everybody and you can overpower everybody in those fighting sports, then of course you're gonna have you're gonna be a top-notch athlete. And he might not have had the top-notch IQ for football, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't a part of the NFL for the short time he was, based on his sports IQ. You know what I'm saying? It was solely based on his physical stature and what he's able to do against people his size. So I don't know. Roman Reigns, I think he played in the NFL too. For a short time. Same way. He played at the University of Miami first. And then he ended up going and playing kind of, I think, like Brock Lesnar with the Vikings.
Right.
And then I guess he just didn't make it, or in that process he learned he had leukemia.
Oh, okay.
So
speaking of size, right? Brock Lesnar, pretty big, strong dude, right? In their prime, Brock Lesnar and damn, just lost my train of thought that quick. Brock Lesnar and what's the guy name, man? Big Traps, your favorite wrestler?
Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
Strength for strength, pound for pound, and they both in their prime.
Bill Goldberg.
Brock Lesnar, Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
100%.
100%.
Easy.
I mean, so Bill Goldberg in his prime was completely a different type of wrestler, because he was a wrestler of power. And it wasn't based on like actual wrestling. He was a brawler. He brawled and he beat the shit out of people. And it was just one of those things where everybody that got in the ring, it didn't matter who they was. Even Brock Lesnar. When Brock Lesnar got in the ring with Goldberg, he got treated the same way as everybody else. It wasn't like one of those situations where Brock Lesnar got close. No, I watched Goldberg destroy Brock Lesnar. Matter of fact, I think he's probably the only person I've seen beat Brock Lesnar in like a minute. Literally, the match started. He speared him, picked him up, jackhammered him, and it was over. That's the biggest difference. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen Brock Lesnar do some damaging things to a lot of people. I've seen him do what they call a belly to back suplex, and he did that probably 10 times to John Cena, and beat John Cena from just taking him to Suplex City. So, and John Cena is a resilient wrestler. When you got resilient wrestlers that kick out of everything and he don't kick out, then you know who it was. You know why it got to that point. And, man, I tell you, I hope Brock Lesnar come back, because ain't nobody going to be able to compete with Roman Reigns. That's not going to, be a strength for them.
Okay, so steel cage match. You got Brock Lesnar, you got Roman Reigns, you got Bill Goldberg, and you got The Undertaker. Who coming out?
Ooh, that's a that's a tough one. But if you're talking about in their prime,
All in their prime.
All in their prime is still gonna go to Goldberg. It's gonna go to Goldberg because of the way Goldberg was. Goldberg was just a man amongst men, but he was the man amongst men. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that made so much of a difference when somebody was so dominant that they had to use a stun gun for him to lose. A stun, you had to stun this dude, not Stone Cold stun him, but literally shock this dude so that he can lose. And even then, even after you shocked him, you had to shock him again. You know, that stuff go a long way. And
who was that? The NWO?
NWO, yep. NWO shocked the shit. They shocked that man and had to take his belt. You know what I'm saying? But after going like 170 something matches and man, at some point you got to lose, I assume. But it's not easy to beat Bill Goldberg at all. Even he old as hell now, so I mean I guess it's not the same. Like now he even looks smaller than he did growing up, but it's still a difficult task, and he's almost 60. So you know, I just know Brock Lesnar is consistent, so he stay in shape. But you know, I've seen him get knocked out a couple times in UFC.
But UFC a different animal.
Absolutely, because it's not based on. I don't want to say it's not based on skill, because it is, but wrestling is based on a different type of skill. You know, it's not based on the combat side of skills. It's more so based on the technique. You know what I'm saying? When somebody slam you, land in a certain way, or being able to properly communicate in the ring with whoever your opponent is. You know, when they tell you I'm a sidewalk slam you, you kind of know where to go in regards to getting slammed.
Right.
But the slams are real. The chops are real. The punches can be real. Just depending on where the punch is at. They ain't going to punch you square in your nose for real. They going to hit their hand or whatever. But when it come down to flare chops, they real. You know, a lot of times you hear something happen where it look like they got slapped real loud, but they slapped their chest. That's why you see their chest be red as on or what all the time.
So on the female side of the WrestleMania, what?
Becky Lynch went head to head with Bianca Belair, which I'm a big fan of Bianca. Bianca, she bad, but I can see that she accidentally also got kicked in her goddamn eye, and she came on Raw the next day with some glasses on, took her glasses off, and her eye was black, and she was missed a damn eyelash.
You should have kicked the girl lash off.
Kicked the lash off. I say she kicked her eye so goddamn hard she can't even put the lash back on. So, but she won. She won the belt. You know what I'm saying? And she's probably one of the most athletic women in wrestling. Her and Naomi. They probably the two most athletic women I've seen wrestle. They're athletic like the goddamn men. And the men, they do flips off everything. So, but yeah, the EST is right now. I feel like she should be the top of the food chain.
So your top 3 wrestlers all time.
All time top 3: Goldberg, Stone Cold, and The Rock. Plain and simple. They all got similar fighting styles where they are brawlers. They would rather brawl. They got that I don't give a shit mentality. And when it came time to actually get in the ring or get on the mic and talk to people about wrestling, or you know, when you get in the ring and you kind of, I'm gonna use the term, entertain the crowd.
Right.
Goldberg wasn't the best at it, but his action spoke for itself. But The Rock and Stone Cold, they was probably top 2 at it. And The Rock is nobody greater than him doing that shit. He got that shit down to a science. So
So we're gonna put The Rock over the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Absolutely, because The Rock. So Nature Boy was good, man. Like, you know, he did his thing, and I like Ric Flair, the old one, when he had that charisma, came out with the robes and you know,
limousine riding.
It's easy. But The Rock was more entertaining from a comedic standpoint, from a serious standpoint. You know, The Rock will stop the middle of the goddamn whole conversation and look at somebody and be like, "Who is this Rudy Poo?" You know, it's like, what the who calls a nigga Rudy Poo in the middle of the ring? But The Rock did it, and he made whoever he was calling that shit look stupid as hell every time. So, you know, that go a long way. And then it's also one of those things where The Rock was just so much bigger than everybody else.
Right.
He kind of had to leave. You know, they made a whole damn show SmackDown is because of The Rock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you got that kind of power, when you got that kind of what's the word, strength, then yeah, you should be at the top of the food chain. And now, you know, people look forward to him coming back just to hear him talk. You know, I think one WrestleMania he came back and was talking, and Stephanie McMahon slapped him, and he went and pulled Ronda Rousey in the damn ring. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a WrestleMania moment that is top 5 all time, because at that time Ronda Rousey was undefeated with UFC. She was a beast. Couldn't nobody really see her doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So when you got her coming in the ring against Stephanie McMahon, who people didn't really like it at the time, and then Stephanie tried to hit her and she manhandled her, it's like, God damn. So of course when you found out Ronda Rousey was coming to the WWE, you was on that shit like, damn, that's what's up. And she came and she does a great job wrestling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So WrestleMania is going to always be the cream of the crop. It's going to be the Super Bowl of the WWE. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's one of those things where people look forward to it so often that you ain't got no choice. And that's why they do it over 2 days now, because it's so much anticipation. It's a whole week event. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So hopefully one day we'll be able to get there. And
Absolutely. We'll be there. Bet More Sports will be at WrestleMania live in the near future.
And you know what was crazy? The way the world is evolving, especially like sports betting, you could literally place bets on the WrestleMania matches.
Absolutely.
And I felt like that was it's a conflict of interest in a way. And the reason why is because it's not like boxing or UFC, where boxing, the results are not known before the fight. You know what I'm saying? So when they go in the ring, they know who's gonna win. We just don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like that might be a conflict of interest, but it's still good. I still place bets on that shit because, you know, it is what it is. You try not to spend time worrying about, you know, what the plan is or what they already know. You focus on the script and the entertainment side of it, because it's entertainment.
So you hear it here first, man. If you want to know who's going to win the WrestleMania events, man, come to Bet More Sports, and Avery will give you the handicap special that you can put on who will come out victorious in the next WrestleMania.
Absolutely. And coming up, y'all, we got the Guru's Pick of the Day. The Guru's Pick of the Day is coming up, so please stay tuned.
You don't want to miss it.
And today starts MLB, so you definitely don't want to miss it. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Bet More Sports, the podcast. This week's pick of the day is the Charlotte Hornets and Orlando Magic over 230. Take everything you can beg, borrow, and steal and put it on the Charlotte Hornets and Orlando Magic over 230. Also, baseball returns today. And if you visit www.betmoresports.com, you will see that all baseball picks are free to all subscribers and non-subscribers for the opening weekend from Thursday through Sunday. If you visit betmoresports.com, you will get the top picks from our expert handicappers from today through Sunday, free of charge.
And that was the Guru with the Guru's Pick of the Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to take the time and say thank you for watching the Bet More Sports podcast. We are live once again coming out of Norfolk, Virginia. That's a wrap. We'll see y'all next week. Peace. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And any questions, just let us know. Holla at your boy.